All right, now they're not your normal streaming service to where you will go and listen to your favorite songs or listen to your favorite albums or singles by your favorite artists. No, what they are is they are a hub. They're a streaming service for terrestrial radio stations and internet radio stations to actually operate and conduct radio business off their server. Your favorite internet, your favorite terrestrial radio station. Once the internet came aboard, they needed a place to broadcast. A lot of people turned to Live 365. A lot of colleges have set up their college stations through Live 365. Well, we've had the pleasure and the blessing to partner up with Live 365 and launch our very own internet radio station. All right, now our internet radio station, we are basically an open-minded, independent thinking radio station. We're a platform for independent people with podcast shows and music to actually hoist their careers and boost their fan base and take it to the next level. All right, now the way to actually access our station is very, very easy. All right, first of all, let me let you know, the name of our station is Ride 95. That's RIDE and the number 9, the number 5, Ride 95. The way to access us is easy. If you're trying to access us via your laptop or desktop, all you got to do is go to live365.com, go to their search engine, because they have a search engine where you can search all the radio stations. Go to their search engine. Once you're in their search engine, type in Ride 95. Our station logo will appear. Click on our station logo, and you can hear music, original programming, all you need, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, okay? All right, now, if you want to access us via your mobile device, your mobile app, all you got to do is go to Live 365, download the Live 365 app. All right. Once you download the Live 365 app, then go to the search engine, type in Ride 95, click on the station logo, and you will have us right there in your face. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year with original programming, music, and whatnot. All right. So again, one time for the good people over at Live 365. I also got to say one time for the good people over at GCTV Roku. We've partnered up with GCTV Roku, and they have agreed to every Thursday night at 10 p.m. rebroadcast all our weekly interviews. All right. Now, they don't rebroadcast every interview for the week, but they rebroadcast an interview a week right on Roku TV. All right. That's GCTV Roku. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m., you can check out the Ridin Durty Radio show. Okay? All right. So we're going to get to it. I'm not even going to go through my normal celebrity news, celebrity birthdays, but I do got to say one time for Houston rapper Scarface, a.k.a. Brad Jordan. He has taken to social media. He's in need of a kidney. So if you're blood type B positive and you're interested in helping save a life, Scarface is looking for a kidney. You can reach out to him on his Twitter page, and it's FaceMob, at FaceMob. All right? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you know this platform is about helping elevate, helping taking you to the next level, helping getting you in the proper mind state. People who are cultivating our culture. People who are changing the world day by day, as I like to say, changing the world brick by brick. That's what I like to say. Changing the world brick by brick. All right, now, this platform is for those who speak freely and think freely. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today is no different than any other day on the Ridin Durty show. So welcome to the platform, real estate investor, Michael Marowski. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am feeling good. This weather down in the ATL is kind of crazy. It's fall one day, summer one day. But other than that, I'm alive to see it, and I'm doing well.
You know, I'll tell you, you want to talk about weather. I'm in the Windy City, and it might be a little bit breezy, but the sun is shining, and you don't need a coat, and it's a beautiful fall day. And actually, it's been a series of great fall days here. And going to be this way through the weekend. So take the kids and go grab some pumpkins this weekend.
That's definitely the move. All right. So the first thing I got to say is thank you for appearing on the show and coming to the platform.
Thank you. I appreciate you inviting me and having me on.
All right, now the second thing I want to say is because I am a Southerner. I've been in the South my entire life. Did I pronounce your last name correct?
You did. For, not being a Chicagoan and living on the south side of Chicago, you did great. You pronounced my name perfect.
Okay, so let's take a journey. Let's take the people on a walk with Mr. Mike. I'm going to call you Mr. Mike. First and foremost,
go for it. Let
the people know where you are from and what growing up in your household and in your area was like.
Great question. I'm from Chicago. I've been in Chicago my whole life. People always ask me, what state are you from? I say Chicago. It's like, that's the state. But from Illinois. And, one thing I know about Chicago is if you can't make a living here, you can't make a living anywhere. Growing up at home, I always like to say this, I do not come from a family that has a real estate background. Nobody in my family really knew about real estate other than, hey, you buy your house and you live in it for 30 years and pay it off. And here's how I got intrigued about real estate. I remember I was probably 8 years old. I was on family vacation, sitting on the side of a pool with my dad, asking my dad why at this resort there were so many rooms. And I remember him in his infinite wisdom, not knowing anything about real estate, explaining to me that people come there, they stay there, and they pay the owner money and to stay there. And I remember thinking to myself, I want to be the owner. I want people paying me money to stay in my place. And that was my first intrigue into real estate. And that's the thing that kind of spurred me on over the years to get to where I'm at today.
All right, so would it be fair to say that was the defining moment for you, which made you decide to pursue a career in real estate?
Yeah, I think it was a defining moment. I don't know that at 8 years old I had really made a decision to pursue a career in anything yet. But it was years later. It's probably in my 20s when I decided that I was going to be involved in some form or fashion in the real estate space.
All right, now I have to ask this: how often do your personal friends ask you for real estate advice?
Boy, if not every third day, once a week for sure. It comes up in conversation. Real estate is one of those things that you could talk about anywhere, right? You could talk about it at a cocktail party. You can talk about it at work. You talk about it in the line at the grocery store, waiting to check out. What's interesting is you go to a party and somebody always shows up and says, hey, listen to this deal I just bought. And you think to yourself, you got ripped off just because you really don't know how to buy real estate the right way. And I think that becomes an art over time, is that you learn how to do it right over time. And, I'm in the coaching and training business today because of my years of experience in the business. And I just love to teach people how they can proceed, how they can get better at what they do.
All right. Do you remember at what age and what year in your life that you actually decided, like, this is something I really, really want to take serious? Not only can I change my life, I can change the life of my family as well as others.
Yeah, I sure do. And I was in the general contracting business, and I was in my early 20s. I'd opened up a construction company, and we had morphed pretty quickly into a company that did millions of dollars in kitchen and bath remodeling and room additions, all on the residential sector. One of the things that I did before I got into that business was I was in the service business for in-ground swimming pools. And a big part of my business was the commercial market. And there was a company that we did a lot of work for in the Midwest in a 3-state region. And that company today is the largest REIT in the world. And a REIT is a real estate investment trust. It's where you like invest money in a stock market and you buy mutual funds in real estate. And this company morphed into be the largest one in the world. But I remember servicing their swimming pools at their apartment complexes and learning about their model and how they bought their real estate and how they brought investors in and how people participated, and thinking to myself, this is what I want to do. This is exactly what I want to do, because you're helping a lot of people along the way. You're building something that's substantial, and you're building a future not only for yourself and your own family, but for others that are involved as well.
Okay. When it comes to education, what type of education did you have to put into obtaining a real estate license and pursuing real estate as a whole?
That's a great question. I come from a belief that you need to become a sponge. You need to absorb everything that you can. So over a 25-year period, I have done nothing but study some of the greatest real estate people around. My original venture into real estate was I was a sales agent, and I sold residential homes. And when I first went into business, and I'm a firm believer that success leaves clues. And if you follow and seek out successful people, you'll learn what they did to be successful along the way. And so when I first went into the real estate business, I asked a friend of mine, or he really wasn't a friend of mine at the time, he was just somebody that I knew in the neighborhood who was really successful in real estate. And I went to him and asked him, what he did, and if I could shadow him and spend some time in his office with him learning what he did. He said, I'll do better than that. Now I'm going to date myself here. And he said, I'll make you a cassette tape. That's how long ago this was. But he made me, some of the listeners might not even know what that is, right? But he made me a cassette tape, and I listened to it over and over and over again. And I absorbed it. I became it. It became part of who I was. And I went out that first 8 months in the real estate business, and I sold 78 single-family homes and didn't know a soul. And from there, I went on and I built a team, and we were very successful. But I spent 25 years in one-on-one coaching, had a personal coach, and I could equate year after year the growth in my business of 20% and greater because of my coach, because of strategic planning, and because of accountability. And I read books, I read tapes, I went to seminars. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in real estate to learn what I know. And now what I've done is I've taken all that wisdom, all that knowledge, my skills and experience, and I've packaged it up and put it on one platform to coach and train others so that they can go be successful.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about what you actually got going on now when you talk about coaching and training.
Sure. So, I talked a little bit about, all that money I spent in real estate or in training. One of the things that comes out for me is that I don't believe anybody ever teaches you about exiting. And I think it's really important that you plan your strategy before you buy your real estate deal. And you plan how you're going to get out before you buy that piece of real estate. So I have a book coming out next week called Exit Plan. And Exit Plan talks about everything you need to know about multifamily investing, whether it's 2 to 4 units or whether it's 400 and 500 unit apartment complexes. And it's everything that you need to know to be successful, but it also teaches you how to get out of the deal and realize your profit before you get into it. And that's really the point that I try to make in my coaching and training with people, how to create short-term cash flow and long-term wealth. And next week, on October 15th through the 17th, we have a 3-day virtual event coming up. I've prepared a 3-day virtual space where people can come online and they can spend 3 days and listen to 20 of the top real estate leaders in the market. Don't just take my word for it, but take the word of other people who've been really successful, whether these men and women are buying 1 or 2 unit properties or they are buying 400 unit properties, whether they're attorneys or insurance people or financial brokers. lending money. You're going to learn a lot. And this goes back to what I said in the beginning about being a sponge and absorbing everything that you possibly can absorb and becoming better at your craft. See, that's how we all succeed in life, right? As we get better at our craft, the more we do. I equate it to building the repetitious boredom and enjoying it, doing the same thing over and over again. You know, if you ever watch The Karate Kid, right?
Right.
Wax on, wax off. And that's the same processes in real estate. There's those systems and processes that you have to do over and over again. But you can't do them until you learn them. So I invite everybody to come to the Multifamily Global Summit next week and learn from not just me, but from 20 of the top leaders in the country. These are folks that are authors and speakers and trainers. And we've created this platform. And really, I look at it this as the biggest multifamily event of 2020.
All right, now I have to ask, because there are people who are listening to this show or people who are going to listen to it when we stream it who have to be asking the question, what is multifamily real estate? Because a lot of people just know, like you said at the beginning, buy a home, move in it, live in it. What is multifamily real estate?
Sure, great question. You know, and I think I forget that sometimes. You know, you're involved in the business so long that you start to forget some of those little things. Because I don't know that I knew what multifamily was when I first started in the business either. You know, I always thought it was that single-family house that you bought. But multifamily real estate could be, in different parts of the country, call it different things. A 2-unit, a 2-flat, a duplex, a 3-flat, a triplex, a 4-plex, a 4-flat, right? 2 to 4 units are small multifamily property. Those you can still do on the residential side. You can get a residential mortgage. And for a brand new real estate investor, that's the best place to get your education or start to get your education is in that 2 to 4 unit space because it teaches you home ownership. It teaches you how to get a residential mortgage. It teaches you the inspection process. You can develop an exit plan. You can learn operations and property management by having other people live in your space with you. And then you go to graduate to the bigger properties, right? And you're still in that small space up to about 50 units. But when you start to look at apartment complexes, and, you know, every city in the country has apartment complexes, whether it's a 10-unit or a 400-unit or a 700-unit apartment complex. They're in every city of the country. Those are multifamily properties. Multifamily really means that you have a lot of individual dwellings on one parcel of land or under one roof.
Okay. All right. Why do you prefer multifamily?
So I think there's a big gap here, right? So I'm going to give you one really important reason. If I own one single family home and I have $1,000 mortgage on that and nobody lives in it, I'm paying that $1,000 mortgage on that single family home myself out of my pocket. That's painful. But if I have a multi-unit property and I have 4 or 10 or 100 units and I'm 10 or 20% vacant, I still have money coming in to help me pay my mortgage and my bills. It's not as painful. And the economies of scale are very great. You know, I've been in the property management business for many years, and one of the things that I did was I had a company that we serviced individual properties. And we would manage at any given time 150 or 200 individual properties. And when you think about it, you've got 100 roofs, 100 furnaces, 100 tenants in different places that you have to go to and talk to and collect rent. But when you have a multifamily property and you have 100 units in one location, you might only have 5 roofs and 5 furnaces, and everybody's in one central place. It makes it a lot easier. The economies of scale are less. Your cost of doing business is a lot less. So in the end, you make more profit.
Right.
And that's really being in business. Any business that you're in, you want to profit, right?
Yes,
at the end of the day.
Definitely. So I have to ask this, and I ask everyone I ever interview this question. when it comes to your career, who has been your biggest influence?
Biggest influence in my career over the years. There's really a couple of people. I think I told this story early on about the real estate agent who was a friend of mine, or became a good friend of mine, who taught me how to sell real estate. He was probably one of the biggest influences in my life, because prior to that, I didn't believe in the real estate agent as being a viable business. I didn't believe that they really were helpful. And how I met this man was I had a house that was for sale by owner, and he told me he could get me more money. And I didn't believe him. And boy, he did. He sold my house in a very quick period of time and got me more money than I would have gotten on my own, even paying a commission. And so I learned very quickly not to squabble over, a 6% commission. And I learned very quickly not to squabble over a 0.5% on a mortgage payment, because in the big picture, what matters is people and what you learn from people. And he was somebody who made a real big impact in my life and helped me in my professional career.
All right. Now, for someone who's looking to get into multifamily real estate, what's the best way to start the investing process or the purchasing process?
So the first thing I would do is I'd come to the Multifamily Global Summit next week, but I'm prejudiced, right?
Right.
I think you should come to the summit next week, and you should learn everything you possibly can learn and never stop educating yourself. People ask me all the time, how come you like real estate so much? Because never has there been two deals that are the same. It's always different. I might close 2 100-unit apartment complexes in the same month, but both of them have different issues, different situations, different challenges, different rewards that make them worthwhile. But to answer your question, really, I think that anybody who's new in the real estate business, who's going to be an investor, needs to buy a small 2 to 4 unit multifamily property and become a hands-on house hacker owner in multifamily first. You can buy at FHA. Your cost of scale is a lot less. Your entry level is a lot easier, and you learn a lot more along the way.
Okay. All right. I just had someone hit me with this question. Do you think what's the best investment amount? And I know that's kind of a blanket question, but I guess they're trying to ask is, what's a good amount? Like if they were to start saving, what would be a good amount to say I'm going to save X amount of dollars and then I want to get into multifamily real estate investment?
Boy, it depends on the product you're going to buy. It depends on the market you're in. There's some variables in that question. It's a great question. So here's how I look at things, right? And I'm a creative finance guy from way back. The first real estate deal I ever bought in my life was a small 2-flat multifamily property in a suburb of Chicago, and the owner financed the deal for me. So I think that there's different ways you can really buy real estate with no money down. You can do it. And I just have a friend who just closed on a 32-unit apartment complex with no money out of his own pocket. So it's possible to do. So, save as much as you can. But I think that there's ways that you can go buy, whether it's residential, single family, or a small multifamily, you get the owner to participate. Every city in the country has grants. Every city in the country right now has money for first-time home buyers or FHA buyers, where you can get help or get down payment assistance. In some cases, that down payment assistance, you don't even have to pay back ever. In some cases, you pay it back after a period of time, but you can get help on your initial down payment. You get the seller to participate. You could do owner financing. There's so many different ways and so many different variables. So I've never been one to buy into the fact that unless you had $100,000 or $20,000 saved up in the bank, you couldn't buy real estate. Here's what I'll tell you though. don't buy a car until you buy your first house. Because I always say, look at your balance sheet. What's going to make more impact on your personal financial statement?
All right. So we got to wrap this thing up. But before we wrap it up, again, tell the people about the summit, how to attend the virtual summit, the dates of the summit, and what they can expect to learn.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So the Multifamily Global Summit is taking place October 15th through the 17th. It's a virtual 3-day event. It'll be the biggest event of 2020. We are having 20 nationally well-known industry leaders, authors, speakers, trainers come to one platform to teach how to buy, own, operate, and exit multifamily real estate. We're going to talk about everything from acquisition to purchase to funding to private equity.
90 seconds.
Private equity to institutional funding and the syndication process and the legal ramifications along the way and all the paperwork that you need to know about. For those who like board games, we're going to play the board game Cash Flow virtually. We have a professional moderator who will moderate up to 50 people at one time playing that game. And if anybody's ever played Cash Flow, it's a great game about strategy.
60 seconds.
Strategy, purchasing real estate. This event is $9 for general admission. Facebook Live, you could spend 3 days listening to these speakers. However, for $90, there's a VIP upgrade. That VIP upgrade gets you everything, plus you'll get all the recorded sessions after we're done. And this way, if you don't get to all the sessions and you don't listen to everything, you'll have them to listen to the next week, the next month, while you're on the treadmill, while you're driving to work, while you're at work. You know, it's all about repetition and listening to this stuff over and over again, absorbing it, being a sponge. And listen, let me give a free offer today.
10 seconds.
I want to do. One is for anybody who goes and registers, there's a place on the registration page that asks for a discount code. Put my last name in there, Marowski, Morawski. That's at the multifamilyglobalsummit.com, and you'll get a 20% discount. And I would like to raffle off a set of tickets right now for anybody who wants to take advantage of them. So you pick the number on the caller or the person who's going to send an email in, and we'll give them a set of tickets, VIP upgrade tickets to the event next week.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the platform chat room open for the next 30 minutes. And that way, the first person that sends their email in, they can get those tickets.
Great. And then you just get that information over to me, and I will we'll make sure that those people get that set of tickets for next week.
All right. So again, let them know what they're getting. Let them know what they're getting, and it's going to be for. I'm gonna leave the chat open for 30 additional minutes, and the person that sends their email in.
So let's say the first person and the third person that send their email in the next 30 minutes will get a ticket to the Multifamily Global Summit on October 15th through the 19th, the 3-day multifamily event of 2020.
All right. Mr. Marowski, I definitely appreciate you coming on the show. I definitely want to do some follow-up with you after the summit. You really dropped some nice information on the people. So, last thing, how can people contact you?
Oh, thanks for asking. Sure, they can go to my website, which is mycoreintentions.com. That's one way to get me. You can call me. I have my direct line is 312-600-8007, or you can email me at info@mycoreintentions.com.
All right. Mr. Marowski, I definitely appreciate your time, and I appreciate the knowledge and wisdom.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to share our event and share some knowledge.
All right. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy that great fall weather. Get a pumpkin.
You bet. Thank you. You too.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's real estate investor Mr. Mike Morawski. He has a global summit going on. And like I said, inbox me if you're interested in getting 2 tickets to the global summit October 15th through 19th. All right. It's your boy, Vic XL. This is the Ridin Durty Radio Show. We'll be back tomorrow with another dope interview. Peace.